Welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're just a legendary couple in love that loves reacting to some League of Legends.
You know when he says legendary, that's what's gonna come.
Exactly. And you also know that we have a special drink for League of Legends.
Yeah, we do. It's the Levian League.
Drink this with all of our League of Legends reactions, so cheers.
Cheers.
So last time we did some League of Legends, we checked out the Fiddlesticks voice lines for Spooktober. And a lot of people had recommended Kindred. Had some really great voice lines as well. So we're checking out a video by Necrit for some lore for Kindred before we get into the voice lines that were arranged by Just Another Nobody. And so two channels that come highly recommended from the League of Legends community. And we've checked out Necrit before in a League of Legends video. So if you want all of our League of Legends reactions, go ahead and check out the description of this video. We got a playlist there for you.
And thanks for all the recommendations.
Yeah, of course.
Hello everyone and welcome. I am sorry that there is a little bit of a gap in my content, but I am sick. And so if I sound like 30 years older, don't worry, I am very well aware of it. So, today I will try to retell the new short story Riot has released, and then I will try to explain what has actually happened there. So without further ado, I present you A Good Death. This story begins on the stage of a traveling theater called Orphelum Mechanicals. Here, our main character Maga plays a role of a young girl. As her character was about to die, she shouted her final words. "Oh, but how wondrous a dream is life! Only now, too late, do I wake to see its myriad of splendors." At that point, Kindred appeared. Kindred was played by Denji, an actor wearing two opposing masks. Kindred approached Maga with the mask of the lamp facing her. "Do I hear a plea of my keenest arrow? Come, child, let the warmth of your heart fade into the cold embrace of oblivion." Maga refused. Kindred spun around, revealing the mask of a wolf. Everyone in the audience was excited to see the end of this story. Maga offered her neck to the wolf. When the wolf got close, Maga triggered a hidden mechanism in her collar. Ribbons of red fabric unspooled to simulate blood. Everyone in the audience was cheering. This was the 14th time Orphelum Mechanicals gave their audience what they paid for. After this play, the theater got back into their caravan and they left in the direction of Needlebrook. During their travel, Denji and his lover Drea argued with Illusion, the owner of the Mechanicals. Tragedy strikes Maiden, death finds Maiden, and then it takes Maiden. They thought the plot was too predictable. Illusion disagreed. He argued that complicated plots detracted from a good final scene. Of course, Maga agreed with Denji and Drea, but she preferred to stay quiet. After a few hours, the caravan stopped to make a camp. Everyone was ready to fall asleep. Illusion and Par, his wagoneer, were sleeping near the caravan. Denji and Drea were further away, talking about their unborn child. Only Maga couldn't find comfort. She couldn't sleep. She was thinking about the play and how the audience wanted nothing more than a good death. Eventually, she left her bedroll and wandered into the woods to get some fresh air. In the dead of night, she found a grave. She couldn't read what was written on it, but she did recognize Kindred's mask carved into the stone. She felt a chill. In a split of a second, the lamp herself appeared in front of her, followed by the wolf. "I hear
That's
a
cool.
beating heart," said the wolf. "May I have it?" "Perhaps," replied Lamp. "I sense she's afraid. Speak, beautiful one. Tell us your name." "I would have yours first," said Maga. "We have many names. In the west I am Ina, to his Ani. In the east I am Freya, to his Volio. But we are kindred everywhere. I am always Lamp to Wolf, and he is always Wolf to Lamp. But worry not, dear child. I have found your name. We know it as you know us, Maga." From this point on, the wolf refers to Maga as the Maga thing. Can we play chasing the Maga thing and bite her?
Oh my god!
Let us ask her, said Lamb. Maga, do you prefer wolf's chase or my arrow?
Arrow.
Maga was
Yeah.
trembling. I would prefer Lamb's arrow. Lamb replied, Fear not, little maiden, we are just having our fun. You have come to us tonight. We have not come for you. I can't chase the Maga thing, said the wolf with a hint of a disappointment in his voice. But there are other things nearby, other things ripe for chasing and the biting. Hurry, Lamb, I'm hungry. For now, know that your theatrics have pleased us, and we will watch them until the day we meet again. The lamb and the wolf disappeared
Don't change
to
anything.
the woods. Unsure what has just happened, Maga fled back to the caravan. But when she arrived, she found it in utter ruins. Torn bits of clothing were lying everywhere. She found Denji's body near where he had slept. He died protecting Tria. Judging from the trails of blood, their death had not been slow.
Oof.
Maga noticed that Illusion had managed to kill 2 bandits that ambushed them before he was burned together with Par in the caravan. The only thing that remained untouched were Denji's masks of Lamb and Wolf. She placed the lamb mask over her own eyes and heard the voice of Wolf. Chase the Maga thing. Maga ran to Needlebrook, never once looking back. Many years later, Maga sat in a quiet dressing room under the stage of a royal theater. Madam, said the stagehand, you are not in your costume yet. No, child, Maga said. I only dress at the last moment. It is the last moment, said the young stagehand, holding the 2 final pieces of Maga's costume. The same lamb and wolf masks from the days with the Orphelum Mechanicals. May your performance be blessed tonight, the stagehand said. Maga prepared to leave for the stage. She slipped the mask over her head. The old chill from the dark burrow crept down her spine. She welcomed it, as always. She glided onto the stage. The crowd was amazed by Maga's performance. She could perfectly mimic Lamb's graceful movements as well as Wolf's playful savagery. She eased the suffering of her fellow actors or ripped it from their throats until the crowd stood on its feet. So it was true. All audiences love a good death, and they loved Maga's more than any other. But Maga heard no applause and saw no ovation. She didn't feel the stage beneath her feet, nor the hands of her fellow actors in hers as they bowed low. All she felt was a sharp pain in her chest. When Maga looked over to the audience, every single face was either a lamb or a wolf.
Oh.
And here the story ends.
What?
So from now on, I will try to explain what has actually happened. So let's start with the ending. There are 2 different theories. If you thought that she got heart attack at the end,
Yeah.
you would be correct.
Okay.
But if you thought that she got killed by Lamb's arrow, you
You'd be correct.
would also be correct.
Yep.
This goes back to the original theory that Kindred is not a real thing. Again, because the game has no connection to the lore, because she is in the game doesn't mean she necessarily has to exist in the lore. Although, she actually exists. This will be hard to explain, so please focus. Kindred is an omen of death for the religion in the area she comes from. In other words, people believe that when they die, Kindred will come for them, similar to Grim Reaper in our world. Usually, the lamb or the wolf will choose their own targets. In this story, because Maga met them, she had the chance to choose her own death. And as we
She
all
chose the
know,
lamb.
she chose the arrow. Now, what does that mean? Whenever someone chooses arrow, that means that they would either die swiftly or from natural causes. Again, in our story, it was heart attack. So, if someone would happen to choose wolf, they would die very painfully and slowly.
Why would you choose
And
wolf?
this also happened in the story. It seems like the lamb had known that Maga would choose her arrow instead of the wolf. That's why Maga couldn't sleep, she went into the woods and there she met Kindred. Everyone else in the caravan got slaughtered by bandits. Even though the wolf says that there is something nearby that he is going to kill, he is not the one who actually killed the people, it was the bandits. If Maga didn't choose the arrow but she chose the wolf, she would probably also be killed by the bandits. And now if we look at the very end of the story, Maga looks into the audience and everyone is either lamb or a wolf. That is the way they died. They either died painfully or swiftly. Kindred works on a similar base as fate. Every time something happens, everyone believes it's the fate. But every time someone dies, everyone believes it was either a lamb or a wolf who chose them to die. The problem is that now we have evidence that Kindred is real and it is not a legend. Although this is the only story where we hear about someone who met Kindred in person. This is why Kindred is so confusing. We have no evidence that Kindred would ever kill anyone. It seems like Kindred works more like a puppeteer. It is trying to make everyone die in the way they want. Also, because everyone would obviously choose the arrow if they had the chance, that's why Lamb always asks first. So if she asks you if you would like her arrow and you say no, you know what is going to happen. Hopefully I have explained everything to you. I don't think I have anything else to say. Again, sorry if I sound like I'm 50 years old, but thank you for your attention, thank you for coming, and as always, thank you, come again.
That was good. It was well explained.
Mm-hmm.
Are you there, dear wolf?
I am, little lamb.
Are you sad?
I am.
What does it feel like?
A long hunt with no kill.
That's all the wolf wants to do is kill.
How old are we, lamb?
Older than those whose footsteps are long vanished.
Many years.
I remember them all.
How long will we be together?
Forevermore.
Never one
Cool, 3.
Without the other. Never one.
without the other. Have they forgotten us yet, little lamb?
All still know us, though they try to forget. Soon, we will remind them. All will know us in time.
Yep.
What do our stories have in common, dear wolf?
Can't beat death.
Lamb, tell me a story.
There was once a pale man with dark hair who was very lonely.
Why was it lonely?
All things must meet this man, so they shunned him.
Did he chase them all?
He took an axe and split himself in two, right down the middle,
So he would always have a friend.
so he would always have a friend.
I see water.
They are called tears.
Is this what it feels like to end?
I do not know, for this is not our end.
Do others come back?
Those who do wish they hadn't.
Ooh. Do I?
All life is temporary. All things great and small.
Die.
There are so many ways to die. The only true death is to never live.
It's my favorite line.
Is it time?
We will soon awaken from this pale slumber. We are not dreams. We are the waking. All things linger.
In our shadow.
Life is ours,
To end. None can hide.
though many try. Those who run from death stood still in life. They laugh
And scream.
and dance.
And flee. They raise place from us.
only to find us sooner.
They know we'll come.
Yet they are never prepared. Treasure your final moments.
We know your name.
We have always known it. All your life has led to this moment.
Its heart beats fast now.
It knows. Beauty fades. That is why it is beautiful. Tomorrow is a hope, never a promise. Your time has come.
Ready or not.
A fine life reaches its conclusion. When you see us,
It's too late. No match for us.
few are, dear wolf. I wonder how they see me.
Ashes on war. What sound do they make?
Feathers falling on fresh snow. How does hunger feel?
Always there.
Peacefully they go.
Hungry we follow.
If it draws breath,
It meets us.
go easily.
No, thrash, flee, run if you can. Who's next?
Everyone. Every life,
Ends with us.
how one dies shows how one lives.
They struggle. Good. This next one will be easy.
And if not,
More fun.
It's a game for him.
embracing life means accepting death. Hush now, rest. Depart in peace. Return to nothing. Time to
End this. Lamb calls.
wolf strikes. And everywhere Lamb went,
Wolf was sure to follow. And everywhere Lamb went.
wolf was sure to follow.
There was a lot of beauty in that, I felt like. I mean, it wasn't just the music, and the music was nice as well. It had a little touch to it. But I mean, I think that also like a lot of poignant lines in there that I liked and agreed with.
Definitely a lot of poignant lines. Just the whole time I kept thinking of yin and yang.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you only had the wolf, life would be out of balance and that wouldn't be any good. Just like if you only had the lamb, the same thing would happen. It's the scary things that make us appreciate the good things. It's the bad times that make us savor the great times. It's life and death that have to be paired to have real value. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was kind of like a somber one, but also beautiful. It also makes me think of Scrooge. I mean, it makes me think of anybody who's super materialistic and wrapped up in their wealth, and that is somehow validating them or proof of their worth on this planet. But then ultimately, that's not the things in life that really matter. And sure, you can buy yourself great healthcare and all this stuff, but like you can't buy your way out of death. Eventually, you're gonna have to pay the piper. And it just made me think of that like you know, they said everything is essentially fleeting, and it's true, but it's recognizing what really has value and what really has worth, that makes your time on this planet meaningful and beautiful and gives you that life that can then lead to a good death.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, only death is a life not lived. And, you know, so many people search for that sort of like immortality in some way or another. And I think that like, as long as you live your life and you're like, are affecting someone like that, like has ripple effects. And, you know, even though your name might be like forgotten or whatever, like there's only a few people in history's name that like stays on forever. But like, even if your name's gotten forgotten, like the effect you've had, like, you know, spreads. I also liked the beauty is fleeting. I think it was like, or
I
beauty
think it was fading.
Beauty is fading, and that's why it's like so. That's why it's beautiful.
What to me is really beautiful is somebody who is very self-accepting, because it tells me that they are living that good life in a lot of ways. And what I mean by self-accepting is they grow old with grace. They don't need to go and get a lot of plastic surgery. That they are confident in who they are as a person, inside and outside. And that's confidence, not arrogance. That's not the obnoxiousness that can come with crazy wealth of people just trying to like put their stamp on the world. They like force their mark without doing something necessarily of actual value. And so I think, you know, when you have that level of confidence and you can achieve that, which is admittedly very rare and something that is incredibly awesome to get. But when you can get it, I think that's the sort of beauty that radiates inside to out, and that is something that can leave that ripple effect. And so that when you do then get to your deathbed, you kind of look back on your life and you're like, you know what? I mean, I'm not saying I want it to end right now, but like I lived a good life, and I had a great love or a great adventure or a great whatever it was, but I'm satisfied and I can depart. And I think that's really the goal, right? Is that you can look back and be like, I can depart. I've done my thing. Yeah, and
basically like live your life in the best way possible for you. Like, you know, because everyone has different circumstances. Everyone has, you know, different goals, different needs, different, you know, means. But just, you know, like when they talk about like living your best life or whatever, it's like, you know, it's become a meme. It's become like kind of a joke. But I think it's, you know, I think that's true, is that you do have to not measure yourself up against other people and live your life in the way that makes you happy, and that's not hurting anybody else.
I used to say, I was like, you didn't add that last little bit. And I was like, I'm going to jump in and add that because, you know, like if living your best life is being Jeffrey Dahmer, kind of missing the point of this.
Yeah.
Probably not too concerned with you living your best life if that's what it looks like.
But I, you know, really liked this one. Always gives us something to talk about. So like that's always great. Like when it sparks these great conversations. And so I really enjoyed these voice lines.
I was also just thinking about, and it's a thought that I had when we watched something else recently, which now it's escaping me as to what that was, but how much I appreciate the really great stories that come out of this. Like just the whole legend of the lamb and the wolf and Maga, and it was just kind of like, that is a beautiful folklore, like piece of folklore. And I don't know if it really is somewhere in the world that inspired this, but it made me think of like, I had a book of folklore from around the world when I was a kid of like different legends and stories. And like, this just made me think of that. And I was like, that's what I love as a person. It's like those really great stories, and from all kinds of different walks of life and perspectives and places in the world. But that's what's fun to me.
Let us know what you thought about this down below in the comments. And if you want all of our League of Legends reactions, go ahead and check out the description of this video. We got a playlist there for you. Thanks so much for checking out our reaction for Kindred lore and the voice lines, but just keep in mind
that our reaction is definitely not definitive.